better be really good and you better have a reason why you did it. That chef is one of the judges.
You had to do that off of memory of the taste.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So they're building me back up. Like, I'm torn down. I'm Humpty Dumpty.
When you heard them call your name, how'd you feel inside? From South Bend to Evansville and everywhere in between, this is Get In, the show focused on the Hoosier State and the incredible stories happening here today. I'm Nate Spengel, founder of Get Indiana, and I will be your host for today's conversation. Did you know that Indiana has been a hub for sports innovation for over a century? Starting with the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where pioneers tested game-changing tech like seatbelts and anti-lock brakes. That forward-thinking spirit is still in overdrive today, and Sports Tech HQ is at the center of it. They're on a mission to scout the most groundbreaking sports tech that is shaping the future of sports, and to bring those innovators right here to Indiana. Guess what? It's working. Sports Tech HQ already has 38 companies in its collective that call Indiana home, with 16 relocating from around the world in just the past year. Home to a world-class sports infrastructure, Indiana provides the perfect foundation for entrepreneurs to advance innovations that can change the game for fans, athletes, and teams. Sports Tech HQ is the leading global hub for an industry that is projected to reach $100 billion by 2030. Discover how these companies are driving the future of sports through Indiana's robust ecosystem of partners at sthq.org. My guest today is Collin Hilton, Chef de Cuisine at Cunningham Restaurant Group, and recent winner of the World Food Championship and the $150,000 grand prize that came with that. And today we're going to be talking about what it takes to become a World Food Champion, how he's bringing global influence to Indianapolis, and how winning changed his outlook, career trajectory, all the fun things that come with winning and being deemed the World Food Champion. Collin, welcome to Get In.
Hey, thank you very much. This is exciting.
Man, this came together about as quick as any interview I've ever had, right? I think I saw something pop up on Instagram a day or two ago, and I instantly DM'd you, and I was like, dude, we got to get you on the show. And he responded back within like 5 minutes or whatever. I was like, dude, let's set this up, and came in the next day.
Yeah, man. That's only person in the DM so far. So
there you go. Well, people would be surprised how much work gets done in the DMs on Instagram. It's incredible. So I guess starting out, I mean, what it takes to become a World Food Champion. I think a lot of people remember Indianapolis back in November hosted a large World Food Championship event, but that wasn't like the pinnacle championship. Like, you didn't win it on your home turf here, but it started there, right?
yeah, 100%. So that was kind of the preliminary, or I guess middle. I guess I don't know the stages of what to call it, but they kind of have like some preliminary competitions that get you into that stage. Then there's like subcategories. So I won Noodle.
Mr. Noodle.
Mr. Noodle, yeah. And then there's 12 others. So there's like bacon, dessert, sandwich, burger, chef, seafood, like it goes on.
So there's like a bunch of different categories there.
100%. And so the winner of each of those categories, then 12 of us were invited to Bentonville, Arkansas, and that's where we competed this last
And the
weekend.
final 12 of each different category compete for the overall World Food Champion?
Yep.
Wow. What made you want to compete in in the World Food Championship?
Don't know that I wanted to. It was a buddy of mine, a fellow chef here in Indy, Ben Barnes, shout out to him, who asked me actually to help him work this event. I didn't fully understand the scope of it, and he eventually had to drop out for whatever scheduling reasons. He's like, hey, you should just do it. You need like 150, 200 bites, and there's like potentially this like competition thing. And I was like, okay, sure. So we kind of went thinking.
It started at the fairgrounds. Like that was the first contest you got
no,
into?
this was actually at an elementary school, Paramount Elementary on the like near East Side. They were just like hosting this like tent event. I think might have been September. Outside, it was like a handful of local chefs, kind of a ticketed event. Come, everybody take a bite of your different cuisine, and then like they voted on it. And by the end of it, like what started out as a catering thing, I was like head to head with another chef, like making a dish right there.
And you're kind of like, oh yeah, we're catering this event. It's going to be fun. Yeah. What did you make that day?
I made a pasta. I knew that the criteria had to be like I needed to either make rice or pasta, is what he said.
Okay.
Right. I think rice is actually an extremely intimidating category.
What makes rice an intimidating category?
I just have a lot of respect for it as an ingredient. My wife's Korean and is constantly correcting me on how I'm making rice at home. Like I'm at the point now where I just make her make it because I'm scared. So I bring that fear into everything, and so
and that's how you became Mr. Noodle.
Mr. Noodle, yeah. I'm not going to be Mr. Rice.
So you cook a noodle at an elementary school on the Near East Side. And you end up in a head-to-head battle. What was the final challenge there?
They just had like kind of just a general pantry of stuff to grab, and they said make a dish in an hour.
What'd you make there?
More pasta, I guess. I was just like leaning into that. So they had some dried pasta. I think I made some meatballs, put an egg on it that I overcooked. It was.
And so then you make this, and it's a taste test. Like how does the judging process work there?
Yeah, judges just went around and asked you to describe it. I think there's maybe like 5 judges there, and they just like walked around to each of us after we finished the hour time up.
And did only one chef from that event get called up to the World Food Championships?
I wanted to say that maybe there was like 2 different categories going on, or 3. Honestly, I'm kind of apparently my memory isn't that great on it. I won my section of it, but I think that there was a couple of us that got what they call golden tickets.
Yeah,
it's kind of like your Willy Wonka reference to getting into the World Food Championship. So they gave me a golden ticket, and they were like, "All right, we'll see you in a month."
Yeah. Okay. So then in a month you come to the fairgrounds where people from all over. Was this another like global event, or what was this?
This one's where it's global. I mean,
it was televised, right?
It was televised. I mean, certainly there was plenty of cameras in my face, more than I'm used to. But yeah, there's teams from like Seoul, Korea. One of the guys that actually competed in Bentonville came from Dubai. Yeah,
no way.
International. I mean, you definitely leaning on the American demographic 100%. I mean, it's based out of here, so like the majority of people are from the States. But
yeah. So you get your golden ticket. What's Cunningham saying as you win this first thing, and they're like, "Okay, cool. Now Collin's in the World Food Championship." Like what?
I mean, they've always been nothing but supportive of all of it. I think they were as clueless about what is going on with this as we were. Soon thereafter, we were in the talks with World Food Championship about like helping cater the event. So we actually did have a small presence there at the fairground, just like to cater the VIP section.
Hey.
They're coming back next year or this fall. So.
Heck yeah. So maybe you go back to back. You're going to have to be Mr. Noodle twice. Are you allowed to compete?
I'm allowed to compete. I probably will compete again. But no, I mean, just in the more like the Cunningham Restaurant Group facility, like we're going to try to get more involved. Like they're trying to make it something that they bring back to Indianapolis, like at least for the next few years. And so we're like, hey, cool. Like we might know a thing or two about Indianapolis. So.
Oh, maybe a thing or two. So you're competing at the World Food Championships. People come from all over, and you're at the fairgrounds. What does that process look like? Like you show up, you bring your own ingredients. Like how does the actual nuts and bolts of it work?
I mean, bring everything was what we did. They do provide you with like a pretty basic kitchen. I mean, it's the fairgrounds. It's like set up like where they run cattle and stuff. So it's an electric stove, an oven, and some prep tables. So you kind of go in knowing you're not like in a professional kitchen. This is all going to be kind of challenging in that regard.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just pulled everything on a cart in.
And did you know you were making noodles at that point too?
Yeah. So they give you the parameters of the competition ahead of time. And actually for that segment, you needed to commit to what you're doing a month out. So I had to write like a full description of what I was doing and like kind of how it would read on a menu a month prior. And I actually think that we had to submit a recipe with like everything detailed down. I was stressing it out, not knowing like how fine tooth of a comb they were going to like run through. Cause like there's a lot of things that you like in the moment, you're like, oh, this needs more salt.
Like a dash of this or that or whatever. Yeah, some love, right?
They're not like reading your recipe and staring at you next to you being like, oh my God, you're doing it wrong. You're out. Like I think they're just looking for like allergies and things like that.
Oh yeah, that would make sense. So you get your recipe. What do you decide to make?
In the noodle category. So I had to do some form of noodle, pasta, what have you. First one, I don't know why I committed to this. I was actually on vacation with my family. We were in New York and I totally forgot that like I had the deadline like at midnight that night and like 11 p.m. I'm like typing and I'm like, I think we just ate Chinese food, and I love cumin lamb, and then I loved like some dim sum that we had with shrimp in it, and I was like, oh, it'll be like pasta with shrimp and lamb together in it, and like just kind of wrote up this thing. And in hindsight, after like I was like, now I have to write this recipe. I was like, oh man, this is hard. Like I shot myself in the foot. Like this is not what I want to cook at all. But it came out okay. Like I actually I got 5th in that round. Which made me qualify for the rest, but like by no means was it like
okay. Wait, so there's rounds of how it happened at the fairgrounds.
100%.
So that was round 1. You're doing a lamb shrimp.
Yeah, like lamb shrimp stuffed pasta. Had like a shrimp cream sauce. I did like a green oil. I made the pasta dough multicolored just because I thought stuff like that mattered. Maybe it does. I still don't fully understand how you get judged on some of this stuff.
It's just like you're just figuring out. I just make food and people like it.
I mean, I texted you yesterday. I'm generally confused.
Okay, so you get fifth, and at that point, like, what's going through your head? You got fifth. You're like, okay, well, this is fun, like yada yada. But you're like, at the point when you get fifth, you're like, oh, I want to win this. Are you competitive?
I don't seek out competition like by nature. I kind of want to just be your pal and like, but I do like pushing myself, and so it kind of like it's a challenge to myself.
Yeah.
And I don't like, if I'm gonna do something, I don't like doing a poor job, and so like I want to win. Like I'm a normal person. Like I'm not like, oh, la-di-da. I'm like, for sure I went in wanting to win. So getting fifth was kind of like an aha moment, being like, oh man, I worked hard. I actually was emailing like the people at World Food being like, hey, can you give me any feedback? So like, why did I get fifth? Like, can I see the judging and stuff? And they're like, no, we don't do that. We're not going to tell you. And so it's a guessing game. Like,
and how much, I wonder how much of it is like presentation versus taste versus like the way that you market your dish, like how you talk to do you have to talk to the judges?
Yeah, you got to talk to. So they do they keep it pretty transparent. They have what they call like the EAT method. So it's execution.
Oh, so they're watching how you prepare it.
Execution, appearance, and taste. And I think it's like 30, 20, 50 of like percentage of like how much. So like taste is obviously the most important, but execution. So they're comparing what you claimed you're going to do to what is in front of them. So that's like part of it. Like if you're like, yeah, I'm doing like a shrimp dish and you leave off shrimp, like obviously you're losing a lot of points in execution.
Yeah.
So
where out of those three, execution, appearance, taste, where do you feel like you really excel? Like what's your
taste?
Taste is you're all like, I cook for taste.
100%. Been cooking the majority of my adult life, but from what I've concluded out of everything of all of this is like taste is the most important thing for me too. I mean, like I get it. Like we eat with our eyes, we eat via Instagram nowadays. Like 100%. It's important that food looks awesome, but like, how many times have you like gone to a restaurant and been like, man, I'm so stoked to like get this that I've seen? You're just like, it just kind of falls flat. I'm always worried about being that guy. I want it to taste better than like.
Then it looks
better than I explain it. Like I don't want to have to explain to you why it tastes good. I just want it to taste good. Like, so if I'm not there, like I feel like I didn't do my job well, or I didn't execute that dish well. So
you get through that first round. It's you get fifth place. Then what's round two look like?
Round two was kind of the same process where it's like, all right, you got to resubmit a recipe. I think like you got like 36 hours, like another like.
So you didn't have like the month ahead of time. Like this is like a pretty quick turnaround.
Right. Like, I mean, like you obviously go into it with the expectation or hope that you're going to like move on to the next round. And so we understood the parameters of that, but I didn't have everything hashed out. There was a lot of things that changed thereafter.
And is it a fresh slate? Like if you got fifth, it doesn't matter. You start from zero.
Doesn't carry over. So like that I got fifth just meant I was in the top 6, and that just means I get to compete again.
And now it's 6 people, just 6 competing in this. Is this the final round?
Final round, yeah.
Okay. So what did you make on round 2?
So they do have parameters of like things that were required. This is kind of where they started introducing their sponsorship with Sam's Club. It wasn't a mystery ingredient, but like the Sam's Club sponsored ingredient was like their Parmesan. So it's like you just have to use their Parmesan, and you show up and they've just got a hunk of Parmesan on your station. And they're like, go to town.
Use as much or as little or a certain amount?
The criteria is that you've got to showcase that however you want to do it. And so like some people...
Did you know that going into that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So some people like, it's like 9 Parmesan components. Other people like they graded it over at the end, like to varying degrees. So like use it as you will.
How did you decide to use it?
I tried using it in a couple places. So I did like a Parmesan stuffed pasta because I kept doing stuffed pasta.
Because he's Mr. Noodle.
Because I'm Mr. Noodle. I don't know. That's where I've gotten some of the best feedback, and so it's a competition, time to bring your A game. So I just figured do that. I made like a Parmesan tuile that everybody does.
What's a tuile?
Like a crispy garnish on top. Okay. Like you just take you shred the Parmesan, you throw it out on like a flat surface, and you bake it until it's crispy. It's like a chip.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's and crunch that up and put it into like breadcrumbs, and made a chicken meatball. But there's like some Parmesan to help bind it. All that was kind of floating in this sort of like this winter squash called kogi nut that I used to kind of just fill the bottom of the plate. So sort of have this.
Where does the inspiration for something like that come? Like how do you think of that?
I don't know. I don't really have a rhyme or reason to how I do things besides like I get real stuck in certain flavors or ingredients that I'm like stoked on. So actually that kogi nut is where this all started with. It's a squash that there's this company out of New York called Row 7 Seeds. where they're just kind of trying to breed things for flavor rather than size and things like that. You can go buy it at Whole Foods. It's like the only place in Indy that sells it. But
A kogi nut squash?
Kogi nut squash, yes, sir. So it's like, kind of looks like an acorn squash or like a little pumpkin.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. Like it's like
How'd you find out about it?
since the inception of Row 7 Seeds, I've just kind of followed along, seen what they were doing.
Yeah.
So once they started bringing some of that to market, I was like, oh hell yeah, I got to try this. And so like last fall was actually the first time tasting that outside of like a restaurant setting.
And did you bring this with you?
Yeah, I was super stoked.
So where did you find a kogi nut squash in Indy to take with you to the World Food Championship?
I went to the Whole Foods downtown.
So the ingredients that you prepare for the World Food Championship, you just purchased at Whole Foods,
Yeah.
and you rip it up and you take it up to the fairgrounds to compete.
Yep, 100%.
Minus the Parmesan that comes from Sam's Club, their sponsor.
Yeah, I mean, it might be contrary to popular belief. Like, restaurants and chefs aren't necessarily buying that much of different stuff than what anybody has access to. I mean, sometimes we buy through purveyors that we can get some stuff that people aren't bringing to the grocery stores because like no one's gonna buy it. Like, who's gonna buy fresh garbanzo beans or something? That's a pretty niche item. But yeah, I mean,
So is Whole Foods like around Indianapolis like the place to buy? I would say that upper echelon of ingredients. Is that where you're usually going?
no, I mean, I'm not necessarily trying to like shout them out specifically, but they carry that, so 100%. I went there for that.
What if they wouldn't have had it? Would you just would you freak out?
I mean, I would have moved on to another squash, or I don't know, change the dish entirely.
See,
I mean,
there's like this piece of almost like improv a little bit that comes with it's like an art mixed with like the improv piece of like you have to roll with the punches because I'm sure it doesn't always go exactly to recipe exactly how you plan it.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, even like bringing the conversation actually to Bentonville this time around, like our first round, the whole parameters were everything you cook, you had to buy at the Sam's Club right there. They're basically like, if you're planning to have something and they don't have it that day, that moment you're shopping, like, figure it out. Like,
wow. Okay, so we'll get to that story. You end up winning with this stuffed pasta Parmesan dish at the World Food Championships here.
Yep.
Which is kind of like it's not. They say it's the world. You won the category of. Noodle.
I won the category.
So you became officially Mr. Noodle there. Out of the 6 final competitors,
Correct.
You win that. Were you surprised?
Yes, I was surprised.
And you won 10 grand there, right?
Yeah, I got 10 grand. I've never gotten a big check. Like, that was really cool. My daughter, my parents and my wife and daughter were like in the back of the crowd, and like my daughter just like slipped out of my wife's arms, ran through the crowd and was like up on stage like so fast. But like all the pictures of me like after I've won, like getting photos with the other competitors, getting photos with like the World Food Champion like executives and stuff. I'm holding my daughter the entire time because she's just like she's like, there's no way I'm not coming up there. Like,
Oh
so
yeah.
like,
and it's like Dad is a celebrity.
yeah,
Let's go.
She biggest fan for sure.
Heck yeah. What was your like when you heard them call your name? Like what was your feeling? Like, how'd you feel inside?
I'm a big ball of anxiety all the time. Like, honestly, I was just relieved. I was going to be relieved no matter who they said, but 100% stoked that I won. Like, it's always seeking validation in life, and so you're like, oh, cool. Like,
Did they have feedback for you on what really did it, like send it over the top?
not really. They don't. I guess I didn't really seek it thereafter.
So you win that, and then do you know you're like, okay, cool. Next stop is Bentonville.
They mentioned it on stage. Like, they like once all the categories were named, like they invited us all up, and they're like, all right, like you guys ready to find out where we're gonna go to compete? And I'm like, oh, cool. Like, what crazy city are we going to? And they're like, Bentonville, Arkansas. And I'm like, wait, where?
You're like, yeah. Oh, you get a round trip flight to Bentonville, Arkansas,
Right,
baby.
yeah.
And I mean, we talked a little bit before we started recording, but it actually like surprised you of how much like how cool Bentonville was, right?
Yeah. So maybe I'm making this up, but I feel like I heard somewhere it's like mountain bike capital of the United States or world or something. Like,
I actually heard that.
it
too.
was like I nearly got ran over by people on mountain bikes the entire time. I mean, I think that like we went while it was also spring break, so there was like a lot of people there. But it's like every storefront, every restaurant, there's like a bike rack full of bikes. Like, people are riding bikes everywhere.
Bentonville, Arkansas, baby.
Bentonville, Arkansas.
So set the stage for us there then. You and it's 12 total.
Mm-hmm.
So you and 11 others, all the category winners now come together and compete to find out who the singular world food champion is.
Yep. I mean that.
And it's not like a specific category. It can be anything.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, so yeah, there are parameters to each of the things, but yeah, you can tell. You definitely could see people leaning into their category. I mean, there's some people that like their barbecue like barbecue champions, and so they like 100% like that's their wheelhouse. I mean, some of the competitors like were talking to me being like, I don't feel super comfortable cooking on a stove. I want to be outside with a beer and 12 hours of smoke. Like, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I mean that like would definitely put them at a disadvantage.
For sure. I think that
Like what were they? Do you know? And I'm not going to ask you to repeat all 12 categories, but do you have like a general sense? Like your noodle, someone was barbecue.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of runs the gamut of like if you were to do like I want delivery for dinner, whatever app you choose, like probably their like main subcategories of like food that you can search for, you kind of have that. So you've got like vegetarian, seafood, best chef, noodle. There's a couple like quasi barbecue, like open fire barbecue. I'm sure it's on there.
Oh, there's just one for bacon.
Bacon.
Bacon, barbecue, burger. The 3 B's of success right there.
Sure, yeah.
Chef. So that's just like fine dining? Or what?
I guess.
Or is that just like utility player?
That seems like, just go for it.
It seems
anything
advantageous
goes.
to them to be in this final round if you're a utility player.
Yeah, well, I mean, the guy that won Best Chef, he was killing it. I mean, rightfully so.
Well, okay, so best chef, that's the category. Then
the
it's
category of chef, yeah.
Dessert, live fire,
Yeah.
noodle,
Yeah.
the coveted rice.
Rice, yes.
Yeah. Sandwich, seafood, soup, vegetarian. All I'm saying, I think if I thought of disadvantaged individuals here, dessert,
She was all the way to the end.
no way.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And then vegetarian seems hard. Not that I'm there's no knock to Sam's Club, but I just don't think of Sam's Club as the place to, get vegetarian, like that's where they shop.
100%. I mean, I think that's that was the thought I was having going into it.
Yeah.
But interestingly enough that you said those, by the final round, the 3 of us were me, the chef from vegetarian category, and the pastry chef.
Shut up.
Yeah, so you
how
not a
crazy is
disadvantage
that?
at all, actually.
Wow, all right, that shows what I know. Wow, that was great. Okay, so it's 3 rounds. You start with 12. After the first round, take us through this whole process.
Sure thing. I mean, we live close enough. It's like just shy of a 9-hour drive, so I drove there just to kind of have time in the car and think.
Did you get like a send off from Cunningham? Like they're like, oh my gosh, go win this thing.
No, but I got a reception party, a surprise party yesterday morning, which ironically enough, I'm not the best recipient of things like that. I don't love surprises, and so like I probably was the least excited person. Like I walked in, I was like, I'm not giving a speech, like, but yeah, I mean, like not necessarily a send off. Like all my coworkers were excited. 2 of my coworkers went with me.
Oh, that's fun.
So
And
yeah.
did your biggest fan make it?
My biggest fan did not go. My wife and daughter stayed back. They made that decision because it is a lot of just sitting around and doing nothing.
And I mean, how old's your daughter?
She just turned 5.
Yeah, that's like
it's a challenge. And
it's like if you could only just like teleport for like the grand reveals of each round, but like the middle part of that is a lot.
yeah, we tried to keep them updated, but yeah, and so they're
So you and 2 coworkers road tripping down to Bentonville. You show up on what day of the week?
I rolled in Wednesday night, and then come Thursday, like kind of the prelim stuff started. So all competitors and like the World Food Championship, like film crew and crew, we all met at the Sam's Club there right as it's closing. And then it's like, did a couple like silly like videos of like, you try to make it look exciting on film because
Your grocery
they're
shopping.
pushing for TV, but yeah, like they did a countdown and had us like run out, but they give us 2 hours. Like it's not like it was rushed at all.
Okay, we're gonna need you to sprint really
Right,
quickly,
yeah.
and then you have 2 hours. You're not actually. It's not. Oh, what was that? Shopping cart spree or whatever that the game show was.
It's nothing crazy. Like they were actually proposing that initially, and it's like, oh God.
Because that just like adds a whole level of like not unrealistic. Like you're not gonna ever. I mean, more than likely not gonna have 20 minutes to prepare something for a guest. Like if you really want to create this vibrant experience, you have a little bit of time to like, get the right ingredients, prepare your food, all that stuff. So you have 2 hours to grocery shop. Round 1, did you already know what you were making? Did you have to submit a recipe again?
No, they didn't require that this time. I have like a whole recipe packet. Me and my sous chef have been practicing a couple of times just to make sure we have timing down and stuff like that. Because sometimes you don't know if something's doable. Like in a restaurant setting, you've got the entire day to prepare for something, and like someone orders a dish, you're like, okay, cool. Like it just takes the last 5-10 minutes to like heat it up and cook the fish or whatever you're doing. Trying to do everything in an hour obviously changes that up. So we just had to make sure it was functional.
And you were practicing with Sam's Club ingredients too?
Yeah, I ended up buying a Sam's Club membership. I think that's really what this was all about. They just wanted to get
They wanted to get 12 new members.
12 new members. Yeah, so they got their money's worth for sure. Right.
So you knew what you were going to cook. What were you cooking for round one?
I knew I wanted to do a fish. Looking at their produce, I mean, the biggest challenge, like when I first walked into a Sam's Club, because I hadn't been since I was a kid, looking at their produce and stuff, I was just like, oh crap, there's no fresh herbs. And I like love fresh herbs. And I like started reflecting. I was like, I don't think I've cooked something in the last decade without at least some element of a fresh herb on it. And so it's like, what do I do? What do I do? Started panicking and stuff. But they have plenty of things like we may do. We did just like pan-seared fish. I started wanting to do like a romesco sauce.
And was there like what was the parameters for round one?
Parameters around one, it's just everything has to come from Sam's Club. You have to at least use one fresh item, and you have to feature their members mark, so like their branded items. So like, I mean, if you walk through Sam's Club, every third item is a member's mark. So that wasn't hard. Like you're already at Sam's Club, you're probably buying a member's mark something. So
it's anything. So like if you think through what was prepared, like you have the like live fire. What is someone cooking from Sam's Club with live fire? Do you remember what they did?
I saw her dish go out. She looked like it was like scallops and pork belly, and like it was really beautiful. But I mean, she didn't actually have live fire. I mean, we had a grill in the kitchen, so like maybe she like kissed something on the grill, but it was gas, and it's not like completely different animal. So I don't fully know what everybody was doing. The guy that
because you're focused on yours.
I'm focused on mine, yeah. But you do have staggered start and end times, so that like it's the same judging panel gets a chance to like judge everybody's in sequence. So like every chef is starting like 10 minutes after each other, and we drew straws for who was going. So I was number 10 actually, so it was like a hurry up and wait situation where I'm just sitting with my anxiety for 2 hours waiting to cook.
Yeah, like because it's 10-minute staggered starts.
Yeah.
So you're 100 minutes into it is where you get to start.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
God.
So that was like,
and you're like looking at what they're doing. Like, oh, does that like influence you at all?
If I let it, but like, I mean, we already had the game plan. We already have all our ingredients. Like we can't change course at that point. Like maybe if I'm like, oh, like they're working their details on like their garnishes, maybe I need to focus a little bit more on how this looks versus like X, Y, and Z. I mean, it's for sure it's affecting me. It's definitely like stressing me out watching these people do it.
Classic. So you go through their pan-seared fish. How many people move on?
6. So it goes 12-6 right there.
50% of the field's cut on the first round.
Yeah, pretty gut wrenching.
And is it placed out like there's a first, second, third, fourth?
Yeah, they go from 6th to 1st, and like saying it, I've like was really down to the wire on time on that first one. Like I like barely got everything that I wanted onto the plate. Like there was a point where like it's funny. I actually mentioned they don't have fresh herbs, but right when we showed up, they had their garden section out front, and so I bought a basil plant that was allowed. So I actually did end up getting fresh herbs. So but by the end of that competition,
their gardens.
Yeah, bought a plant.
You're making it work, right?
Yeah,
It's like you got to make it work on the fly.
Yeah.
Were you one of the only ones to do that, or did a lot of people?
There was one other group that bought like a ton of plants, and I was like, man, maybe I should have bought some more plants.
Yeah, and that's like kind of in the back of your head. You're like, you have a game plan, and you want to be creative. You want to put this all together, but you're like seeing other people and you're like, oh man, I didn't go all the way on plants.
Right. Yeah. But,
okay.
So I ended up garnishing with basil. I don't know that I even got it onto every single plate because
how many judges?
5. And so you're making 5 like tasting portions, and then you make like one big plate that's like the presentation that they're like kind of judging like the looks off of that one.
Okay.
That's for photos. But then they each get like a small portion so that they can have their own personal one.
I wanted to give a huge shout out to our newest partner, Hope Plumbing. Now, Hope Plumbing serves Indianapolis and the surrounding areas when it comes to all things plumbing, obviously. That includes sewer and drain, water heaters, water softeners, leak repairs, sump pump, gas lines, plumbing inspections, reverse osmosis system installation, router services, downspout installation, and septic tanks. What don't these guys do? Whenever I have trouble, I make sure to call Hope Plumbing. They always do a great job on my house. They're going to do a great job on your house. Go to hopeplumbing.com to check them out. Where did you place that in the first round?
I got second.
So they're going 5. They're going 6, 5, 4, 3, and you're like, shit.
Yeah, like I was like, if I made it, I'm like 6th or 5th. And so like by the time they read like 4th place and 3rd place, I'm like, yep.
We had fun.
I botched it. Like I'm out. Like.
And then they say your name.
I got a weekend in Bentonville. Here we go. Like
a weekend in Benton, Vegas, baby.
Yeah,
Come
exactly.
on. And they get to 2 and they say your name. And what was the feeling there?
I'm relieved again. Like I'm just like, oh, cool. And then there's another part of your brain that's just like, all right, game on. Like,
Yeah,
you
it's
just
like a
start-
little bit of extra advance, and like you got to dial back in.
Yeah,
Because how quick is the next event?
So that one, we only did that one competition Saturday. That was like morning into afternoon. And then the next event was the following day, based off of a dinner we all had.
Oh, yes, because this was like taste and recreate.
Yeah.
So what was dinner?
We went to this restaurant called Meza. They describe themselves as like a pasta and mozzarella bar.
That sounds kind of fire.
Yeah, it's cool. Like a super quaint restaurant, like beautiful, like real. I mean, because it's a pasta restaurant, like everybody's looking at. Like I'm feeling like an asshole because I'm Mr. Noodle.
Yeah.
And
Well, and did they think through that? Like from the World Food Championship perspective, it's like that's definitely an advantage to the noodle guy.
Right, but like the year prior, because every year they have done this so far, like they go to a different restaurant that's local to do it. Like the year prior, they went to like a Mexican restaurant where he had like a pig that he roasted in the ground with live fire, and so I guess it's kind of anybody's game. Like there's no guarantee that I was gonna make it, but yeah, so it's a gamble.
Yeah, and they're like dessert. The pastry chef
Right.
has to make a pasta or has to,
So first round, she was required to make a savory dish from Sam's Club ingredients. So she did that, and she made it to the top 6. And then we go to this restaurant, and like none of us know what it's going to be, but like the other competitors, like I roll in, they're just like, "Are you stoked that it's probably going to be pasta?" And I'm like, "I don't know." Like,
trying not to like remember the name, but in the back of your head, you're like, "Hell yeah!"
Yeah,
pasta,
and like yes, we sit down, and the chef brings out what we have to recreate, and it's pasta. It's literally the exact fold that I'm planning to do for the final round if I make it. Like it's like, I know how to make this kind of pasta. Like,
And at that moment, are you like, "Hell yeah, let's go"?
well, it was really hard because it's really like this pasta is like simple, like crazy simple. Like it's a heat. Like they don't describe it to you really. Like they give you like the menu item description and let you taste it, and then like don't really answer questions. And it's like your job to figure out what's inside it. Like,
Ooh, that's kind of fun.
so you taste it, and it's like you taste it, and you're like, oh, that's lemony. Like I taste a lemony sauce, but it's just like it's like 3 pieces of pasta, a white sauce, and like there's a couple pieces of Brussels sprout and some orange stuff. Like there's nothing going on. It's very minimalistic, beautiful in that regard. But so like I think that's like the challenge is like, all right, figure it out. Like, and they tell you like they're like, all right, taste it, take as many notes as you want, take pictures. Like we'll see you back tomorrow.
Did you have to go shopping again?
No, you roll in and they give every contestant, every team, they give you the same basket of ingredients, and it takes like it took 10 ingredients to make it. They give you 15 just to mess with you, and so like
So you know, and do you know that you have to cut out 5? Or is it
I knew going in that they let you know that they're totally adding more than you need, and they gave you chefy stuff on like things that I didn't necessarily taste, but like as a chef, you're like you get an onion, you get garlic, you're like that. Of course, I'm putting that in there. Like that's just like the chef instinct. But like at no point did I taste onion, and so like it took some
soul searching.
going against your instinct to be like, I'm gonna set this onion aside. And so I did that. Like that was the right call. I didn't taste any herbs either, so I set the fresh thyme aside too, and I was wrong.
And how many? So there was 10 ingredients that it took. How many did you get exactly right? Do you know?
I got 8.
8 of the 10.
I might have added more. Like they're that's not really where they're judging too hard. I mean, like they want it to taste similar, but they're like, if you're gonna deviate, like their advice is like, it better be really good, and you better have a reason why you did it, because like that chef is one of the judges. You're literally like, so if you think you can do a better job, they're like, go for it. But you're literally standing in front of the guy and like telling him like, yeah, I did a better version of this than you. And
so what was your approach there?
Not to do that.
Yeah.
Like just to
insult the guy right to his face.
I didn't think I could do a better job. I mean, like what's interesting about it is it was actually pretty similar to like kind of how I cook. But like, you start noticing like those subtle details, like your doppelganger or something, where it's like, oh, now I can really see where I would go different. Like that's too much lemon, or that's not enough salt here.
And like, you had to do that off of memory of the taste.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so and then they cut it from there. They go from 6 to 3.
Yes, sir.
So you create this pasta, you present it. Did they give you any feedback at that point?
Yeah, I mean, what in all of these, the judges like are tasting in front of you and giving you feedback literally like in that moment.
What's the
Positive
chef?
across
The
board.
chef say?
He said it was good. I mean, he was the last to talk, I think, and there was a couple of the other judges before that were like, I don't know, maybe he needs to change his recipe, and I'm like, oh hell yeah.
Now we're cooking. Now we're cooking.
Yeah.
So they start to read off this one. How do you place?
I got first.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Noodle gets
Mr.
first.
Noodle, yeah.
Okay, and that's where, and then I'm still amazed. The vegetarian, what was there meat in the pasta?
Crab. Ricardo, he's not, I think he just chose vegetarian category to compete in. By no means is he a vegetarian.
I got you.
Or a vegetarian chef. He just like, think that's either the category that he could find to get into or just went for something challenging.
Yeah.
I actually, when I compete again this fall, I'm going to do vegetarian. I just wanted to change it up.
Yeah, I mean, you already Mr. Noodle. Vegetarian chef. So the winner of the vegetarian category and the winner of the dessert category are who you're competing against.
100%. Yeah.
The dessert, the pastry chef making it that just speaks to, is it her, him?
It's a her, yeah.
That just speaks to her and her ability in the kitchen. That's awesome.
She was talking a little crap at our like when we were all sitting down at that restaurant. She's like, "Don't underestimate me." She was the only woman contestant. And, like, more power to her. And then, like, last year, actually, the person that won the whole title was the person that won dessert category. So
dessert chefs versatile.
Yeah,
so you get
often underestimated.
Yeah, I mean, because you think like baking and stuff like that, not necessarily cooking. So that's impressive. And like at that one, did you know when they were reading results, you're like, I won this. Like I know.
I was feeling pretty confident that I'd at least passed the next round. Like I like the feedback from the chefs, even though I missed putting time in there and I missed like a real dumb one where I didn't finish it with olive oil, and I could see it when I was eating it that day before, but I just I don't know. I just like it. Maybe it wasn't that strong of an olive oil or something. I wasn't really tasting it, and so I didn't write it in my notes. And so I'm like, no, they're just throwing me off because it's pasta. Like they're messing with me. But it was there. So but even though I missed those two, like the feedback I was getting was pretty positive. I was feeling good about it. Like
so you win that one, and you get to the final boss of World Food Championship.
Yeah.
And at this point, I mean, obviously you came in wanting to win the whole thing. You know, you're competitive, but not necessarily like into a bad sense, right? But you want to, and I loved what you had to say about, I like to push myself.
Sure.
And this is definitely like, right, you're in the third round, final boss, you're pushing yourself. What's the final contest?
It's like they called it My Culinary Journey, but the whole idea was like, do a single dish that you feel represents your journey as a chef. Like, how did you get from point A to point B? Whether this is the first thing I ever learned to cook with my mom, or whether it's a culmination of all these things. Like, it's up to us to kind of put a dish that represents you. I'm a super cerebral guy, but I've never really like sat and tried to identify myself as a chef and be like, this is what I do.
Yeah, your influences and all that fun stuff. So like, where did it take you to? Like, you get that, does that get posed to you the day before or the morning of?
No, we knew it going into it. So like we had like a couple months to think about it.
To brainstorm of like what you were going to do.
A bit of a procrastinator, so I didn't think too hard about it until like a week or two prior.
Classic. So as you put your journey through food into words to then put into a dish, what was coming to mind for you?
Coming back to like why I even do it, because it's not like, I mean, it's a hard career path to follow for a ton of reasons, and we don't have to get into that. But why do I still do this? And I think I kept coming back to community, camaraderie with other cooks and stuff like that. And then also my ability to travel always with it. And so I kind of was like, that's like where I started. Wanted to have more of a humble approach. I know that like there's a competition. You're trying to do like the most extravagant thing or like super fine dining stuff or something out there. Ultimately, I cook, and the most connections I've had are just kind of been at like staff meal in a restaurant, like like a meal you just prepare in 30 minutes for everybody to like eat together, whether you're having a conversation with each other or not, because you're a family for that short period of time. And like, that's kind of like what I went to. So I tried to pull from like my influences of either travel or like working with other cooks and chefs from other parts of the world. So like kind of this global influence. And then I just wanted to put out something humbling, something a little more honest.
That Hoosier humility, right?
Guess,
like, come on.
Yeah.
And so what'd you end up going with?
Doesn't look it and doesn't eat it, but I wanted to do chicken noodle soup, and that's kind of how the process started.
So it started as chicken noodle soup.
It is noodles in chicken broth, 100%. But it by no means is it chicken noodle soup in any regard that anybody would expect. Which is also, I guess, like kind of self-reflecting. What I like too is I kind of like some surprises.
I'm like looking it up. Is like that thing?
Yeah, that's it.
And that looks interesting.
Yeah, it doesn't look like chicken noodle soup though. So I obviously deviated quite a bit. I wanted to do pasta again, just because that's what got me into this. So it felt cool to like bring it full circle.
And to talk about the journey, like the journey to World Food Championship and to the finals was through pasta.
100%. So and honestly, I didn't I could make pasta and I had done it in my career, but until like I started this, I wasn't like really leaning hard as like a pasta cook. I've always had respect for it, but like it's a kind of an intimidating category. It takes a ton of time. If you're looking for respect of any restaurants or any like chefs out there, if you go to a place that's making handmade pasta, they put hours of time into that single dish you're eating. So if you're wondering like why is this simple or why is this expensive or something, it's like this is people standing for hours, like fidgeting with their fingers, like trying to get it just right. So it's really a formidable category of food, and so I wanted to lean into it.
Yeah. How long did you have to prepare it?
An hour.
Okay, so you have an hour.
Yep.
You put this out, and at the end, when you submitted this, was it that feeling of relief again? Like, okay, well, it's out there.
Yes and no. Actually the first chef, like they give you like 5 minutes this time to talk about it, talk about your culinary journey, explain what you did. I think I did an okay job. Like I said, I kind of black out when I talk. Like I just kind of start rambling. First chef judge up to talk to me, he kind of ripped me one, and I was like, oh man, I did not do it well. Like I lost this competition. Like
What does he say?
he was kind of silent and like looked at it and looked at me. He wasn't really eating it. Vibes were a little weird, and he like the first thing he said was, "The idea is there," and I'm just like,
Oh, that's
man.
a polite way to say I don't like this.
right. And like
I mean, was it anything like super exotic? Like it looks exotic, but
it's all over the place, man. And like I wasn't trying to like make a claim that it's like one cuisine. It's kind of a mashup, and like I always have kind of like this imposter syndrome, and so like pulling from different cuisines and stuff, I kind of feel guilty or off by doing that. It's like I didn't grow up eating that food. Like I grew up in Indiana, man. Like tuna casserole was like
fire.
was where it's at. Yeah, 100%. Like that's kind of like why I started at chicken noodle soup, but to bring that full circle of like my culinary journey, it's like, yeah, like I'd started with something humbling. Like I'm used to like Campbell's soup, but I have been exposed to this stuff. Like I do know what ricotta
And is that the
negro
story that
is,
you
or, like,
told?
Yeah, 100. I tried. I don't know. I'd have to like go back and look at footage of what I really said.
So he rips you,
He rips me.
and you're like, shit, it's over.
I was for sure like, this is done. Like there's no way. Like
And did anyone come through and build you back up?
all the chefs thereafter, that like all the judges, like the judge number 2 was like said straight to that other judge. He's like, hey man, I like you, but like you could not be more wrong. Like, and they're building me back up, but like I'm torn down. Like there's no bringing me back up. I'm Humpty Dumpty. Like there's no way to put me back together. So it feels good to hear this, but it's not like I'm just.
But like the one, it's like that funny because there's 5 judges again.
There's 5 judges.
So it's like the one negative can outweigh the 4 positive.
100%. Especially when you lead with that. Like it's.
You're like, you're on the edge of your seat and you're like, yeah, the idea is there. It's like, oh shit.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So then it advances through, and then it gets to the part where, and then do you see them? Where were you at in the judging lineup?
I was the last.
So you had already seen them go through everybody else, or were you had to work?
You're not allowed to be. You can't watch the other people. If you've already been judged, you can stay and watch other people, but like you weren't allowed. So I'm just walking around the hallways, just like losing my mind, waiting to go.
And was it 1 hour? Like each chef goes solo by themselves?
I mean, I had my sous chef with me.
Well,
cooking,
I meant like, but not all 3 of you were cooking at the same time.
we had 15-minute stagger times. So I waited 30 minutes from the first person that went up to when I started. So like they're in the kitchen, like celebrating, cleaning while you're like stressing it still. Like, so.
Oh man. And then it gets to the grand reveal.
Yeah.
And they like, what's kind of like their monologue? What do they say as they start to reveal the names?
I mean, they drug it out. Like they really like kept the suspension going. Like,
And do they go 3, 2, 1?
they
Or do
did.
they just
They
go
did.
1?
They win 3, 1, 2. Because I mean, like either however you say that second one,
Yeah, that
like
makes sense.
you know.
So who got 3rd?
The pastry chef got 3rd.
Okay. And then at that point, you're like, oh, like, are you back?
I mean, like the guy that got 2nd, like him and I were neck and neck the whole time. Like, so when I got 2nd the first round, he got 1st. When I got 1st the second round, he got 2nd. So it was like it was him and me eyeing each other the whole time. Like
Where is he from?
He's from Mexico City, but he works in Dallas.
Oh man,
wonderful dude. Like I really loved working near him. Like
against him.
I mean, and against. I mean, but there were never did it really feel. It's a competition against yourself.
Yeah.
Like all the competitors. Like we shared contacts, we shared hugs, we cried together. It was like it's very like It was a cool experience.
And then at the end, they read your name.
Yeah.
And you win, and you are the world food champion.
Yeah.
And you win 150 grand.
Yeah.
What was going through your head at that point?
relieved, stoked, remorseful for the people standing literally on each side of me. Like, it's like, feel bad. Like, in order for me to get this, you couldn't have. So like, it's kind of gut wrenching. Like,
And that's not a usual, it's not a football game. It's not like a boxing match where you're like, usually in, I'm assuming in cuisine, it's not like for us to win, your competitors have to lose.
Right.
Like the best restaurants in town can all make great
100%.
food and everyone can win.
Yeah.
But in this, there's only one winner.
No, yeah, it's straight up a competition. And like, that's, again, like I said, it's not really something I normally would seek out or something. So it's like, it's a little foreign to me.
Yeah.
100%. I'm not going to lie. It feels good to win. I wanted to win. I was ecstatic that I did. I mean, there's video of me. I probably looked like I was about to fall over. I was like, I jokingly have been saying to people, because they're like, you kind of look like you're going to pass out. I was like, can you imagine if I passed out and got third? Like, how embarrassing. But,
I'd have to move. I'd have to like never go anywhere near a kitchen ever again. But you didn't. You got first.
I got first.
You won 150 grand.
Yeah.
You got the pride of winning. What does that mean for both you personally and your career trajectory as a chef, as well as Cunningham Restaurant Group?
We were all caught by surprise. Not that we didn't know that I had a chance or that this wasn't happening, but it's just it's a whirlwind. You're not used to this kind of lifestyle. I'm not used to this kind of attention. I've mentioned before, like I keep joking about it, but like, yeah, I'm like, I got a lot more cameras and mics in front of me than I ever have before.
Do you like that?
Historically, no. Historically, honestly, I like want to hide, want to act like this isn't a thing, but like I'd be lying if I don't. Like, you're always seeking validity. Like, when is it going to be okay for me to like accept a little bit of praise?
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of trying to grow up a little bit in this and accept it. Like, I accomplished something really hard. Like, a bunch of other people tried at it and worked their butts off, and like, so I don't know. I can be a little proud.
Well, and I agree. I love it. And it's like, I think that we talked with a lot of Hoosiers is like, just humility is baked in, like not to be braggadocious. But like, I think what's cool is you get to come on here and like share this inspiring journey, because maybe a high school kid who wants to get into, and wants to become a chef one day sees this story and is like, man, I could make 150 grand into this World Food Championship, and I could cook meals that delight people and, win over judges and come back and work in my city and help bring all this global influence. I think it's super, super cool. And back to your original point of like, you like to push yourself. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're have been in the kitchen, away from the mics, away from the limelight, like, what better way to like push yourself professionally too is like, oh, I have to get on a podcast and talk, and it's just another layer of growth onto the cooking ability.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, public speaking and like that sort of thing is like, it's a learned skill, and I've definitely gotten better at it. My boss at CRG actually, like right when I started, could definitely sense that was not like what I was into, and so like threw me into it. So
the classic, right? It's like, oh, you hate that? Welcome to more of it.
Yeah. I mean, like, so I do a lot of like wine dinners and stuff where like we'll have like 40 people sitting down, and then like each dish goes out and it needs to be explained, and he's just like right out the gate, just kick me in the butt and is like, yeah, you go talk loud, go like represent what you just did, sort of thing. And so like I in that regard, I think I've had a lot of practice in the last couple of years with CRG, like getting a little more used to that conversation, because like outside of that, like unless it was like a more intimate conversation, like I could go out to a table in a restaurant setting and like talk to them and be like, hey, this is what I made for you, like thank you for coming, like that conversation's fine. But like you put a group of people in front of me and it's like, whoa, like this is
Well, I have just a few more questions as we wrap out here. I know the constant thing you get at, two questions you've probably been asked a ton is like, what 150 grand, what are you going to do with the winnings? What do you want to do? Like open a restaurant? Like, what does that look like?
I mean, I'd lie if I didn't say that's not like a thought of mine. I mean, I've said since the start of my career, like that was like the end goal, or like a feather in the cap. At least at some point I wanted to own my own thing. It's crazy as life goes on though, like you get different opportunities, your priorities change. Like I'm a dad now, like that kind of life also really takes you away from like being around your kid and like those sort of situations. So like right now, honestly, it's just, I'm kind of doing a lot of reflecting. I've got like probably the sweetest job out there. So like, it's like, why would I run from that? So I'm taking it day by day and reflecting, but like whatever I do, like with the money, it'll be responsible and for my daughter's future, be that via a business or do that via investment or what have you.
Yeah.
Like just trying to lean into being a good dad.
Amen.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool. I mean, you are right. Like if you want to work within food within Indianapolis, like there's like a few spots, and Cunningham's a good one. You
Sure.
know, like
100%.
there's a lot of, I mean, really, really good restaurants, but there's a couple main groups that put together really good concepts. And the thing I wanted to get into was like what Chef de Cuisine looks like. Like a lot of people are asking, like, where can we eat your food at? And it's like everywhere and nowhere at once.
Right. Yeah. It's a hard thing to answer. And I feel like I'm disappointing people because it's like, no, I'm not like the chef at like this one restaurant. You can walk in and see me at the expo and calling out tickets and
Yeah.
stuff.
But one of your big projects pre-World Food Championship was Shindig. He's wearing the shirt for it today.
Yeah.
Which is the new pizza joint down by
It's a pizza joint, yeah.
North Mass Boulder, like right in that district there.
Correct. Yeah. I don't even know what neighborhood to call that. It's kind of like just west.
Circle City Industrial Complex area.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Like just east of Windsor Park. Like we put what we called Windsor Park Wedge salad like on the menu initially. It got canned, but
Well,
I
you know.
tried to, I don't know, be silly.
Yeah, just a nod to the local area. But a ton of your work went into that, from, you know, designing the little doodle that is now like the mascot to, I mean, the menu, all the vibe. And if you haven't been, I will say Shindig is phenomenal. It's got some very interesting pizza. Like it's a really cool experience. I think like the one that stuck out to me that I just remember is the sauerkraut pizza, which is just like a cool concept.
Come to Shindig if you're looking for kind of my vibe and food. To kind of bring it full circle, I'm the corporate chef de cuisine. So I kind of like, my wheelhouse is menu development or writing menus, writing items. So like when we have new concepts like Shindig, I got the privilege of writing that. But yeah, that was a challenge because like we didn't exactly have a direction outside of like pizza and the name. And so, yeah, as you mentioned, I started with a doodle. I didn't even have like a menu item. I just started drawing these little pizza, and I thought wings made sense. Piece of chicken and a pizza dancing together.
Isn't that funny? Like from a doodle, from a name, menu item, like a broad menu category, pizza, and a doodle, a restaurant was created.
Yeah, I mean,
That's pretty sweet. Okay, as we wrap up, I have just a few kind of more rapid fire questions. One, is there like what's the next project you're working on? Right, Shindig is up and running. Is there another concept? Are there more restaurants opening?
Yeah, they're a little further out, but yeah, we have a like a concept in Lafayette that we're working on that we're actually doing with like Purdue, and the whole idea is they want to like involve a bunch of the agriculture that's up there, and so it's going to be like very to death. But
He's going to say farm to table.
Yeah.
How did I know?
But it like we're trying to work out how that actually looks, because people really use that in the wrong setting or don't do it at all when they say it, and we're trying to work with local gardens, local farmers, maybe like the ag department of Purdue, since they're fronting a lot of the capital for this. And so like, what does that look like? So that's one that we're working on. But outside of that, it's just 43 restaurants already. So we got plenty of work to do all the time. So.
Amen. This is our Younger Years segment. It's brought to you by our friends at Orr Fellowship. They're a great organization here in Indiana, helping develop young business leaders across the state. So Collin, what advice would you give to your 22-year-old self?
Stay the course. You don't have to have all the answers. Enjoy life. There's always going to be work. So find work that you have meaning in.
That's a really good answer. I think that the patience of, you know, like when you started in food and then we're in Indiana, go out to San Francisco, end up coming back, get this opportunity. It's like saying yes to things and, you know, continuing to work hard and hone your craft and compete against yourself. I think that's spectacular. Okay, final 3 questions I ask everyone who comes on the show. First one, what's something the world needs to know about Indiana?
That we have that hospitality, man. We want to be your buddy. Indiana's just like everybody I've met outside of the States that like has come through Indiana. They're like, man, you guys just like are so accommodating and so sweet, and like, and also like, I'm sure everybody can attest to this who are Hoosiers that have either moved away or encounter other Hoosiers. You are so stoked to meet another person from Indiana. Like, I have never not met somebody from Indiana. Like when I lived in San Francisco, like you run into each other and you're just like, you don't even know what to say to each other. You're just like,
we vibe. Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Again, you're crushing it on these answers. We have 2 questions left. What is a hidden gem in Indiana?
If you haven't gone up in Castleton, if you haven't been to Suraga as a grocery store, it's a great place to get produce. If you haven't eaten in their food courts, it's a fantastic place.
Suraga?
Suraga.
That's the international
market. There's like 3 of them in the city, but like less of a hidden gem. It's huge. It's obvious. Like Julietta's, tacos in the Stutz building.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
You got to go.
Oh, is that right next door to the bar that's right there?
Yeah. Right,
It's like
right
you
next
can
door.
order the food.
They literally have that little pass that you can like see the chef like sticking his head through. And stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Julietta's?
Juliet, I mean, depends on what language you're speaking.
There we go. Okay. Those are two really good ones. I think one other person has recommended Saraga.
Okay. Well, then scratch that.
Oh yeah,
I didn't say that.
Yeah, right. Final. No, this is the validation. Like two means it's when the world food champion says go there, you drop what you're doing and you head there right now.
Well, I mean, like, if you go on a Sunday or a Monday, your odds of seeing one of the local chefs here shopping and buying like the obscure ingredients that they can't find anywhere else are like so high. It's like,
and that's where you
run
want to
into
go.
Industry people all the time.
Industry people. Well, I want to go. I want to shop where the chefs are shopping.
Sure.
Like, and I want to eat where the chefs are eating. Like that's the thing, right? Final question. This is where you get to share the love with someone that you see that's just doing great things and kind of helps us source new guests. So, who is a Hoosier we need to keep on our radar? Someone who's doing big things.
I think the team at Modita right now is like killing it. It's a chef and sous chef, Megan and Chase. That they're both super young, like mid-20s. Kind of just finding themselves now as chefs, and I'm blown away every time I go eat there. I'm blown away every time like we do a tasting and see what they're doing, and they're really starting to find their groove, and it's a cool thing to watch. I mean, like one of the most exciting things I have in my position here is that I kind of get to take a role of mentorship with some of these chefs, and just like seeing them just like nail it without you having to help at all, they're putting these dishes out there, just like, yeah, you get it. Like
the sensei has become the master, right?
Sure,
like,
yeah,
the whole.
I can't take any credit for what they're doing. Like they already got it. This is just something like I just have like point of pride, just like watching them, and so it's cool. Yeah, I'd say watch out what they're doing. See
Modita?
What's new. Modita, yeah.
All right, put that on the list, man. Collin, thanks for coming in and sharing a little bit about your journey through World Food Championship and the work that Cunningham's doing both in Central Indiana as well up to Lafayette. That's super cool. You said 43 restaurants now?
43, yeah.
Holy smokes, that's awesome. Well, it's awesome. You're incredible. You're a great storyteller. Thank you for one of the things I love is seeing Hoosiers do big things on a national or a global stage, and to be the World Food Champion, like from one Hoosier to another, like, man, super proud. Like, it's awesome that we have, whether it's athletes or chefs or movie star or whatever it might be, it's always fun to see someone thriving in whatever it is they're doing. So continue to keep up the good work. I'm excited. If there is an event that you are like where you're actually going to be preparing stuff, like get me on a list somewhere. Let me buy tickets. I'm totally in.
I'll invite you for sure. Yeah.
Heck yeah, man. Wait, keep up the good work and we'll talk soon, all right?
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Get In. If you like what you heard, make sure you leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts. This show is made possible by our friends up at Sweetwater. Whether you're looking to start a podcast or take your content to the next level, click the link in the description to see all of my gear recommendations at sweetwater.com. If you want a behind the scenes look at everything we're doing across the state, make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Nate Spangle. Thank you so much for listening and being part of what makes the Hoosier State great. We'll see you next time here on Get In.